Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. We are still in the hotel room here in Orlando, Florida. There apparently was some sort of Microsoft cloud glitch that has got the airport completely screwed up. I believe it's all over the country. So everyone at ICAST kind of on the final day was running around trying to figure out where to go. Our flight's not out until the morning. So hopefully it's all resolved by then. I'd rather not have to stay here for an extra day if I don't need to. Luckily, I do have Sarah down here with me as well. So we'll go get a nice dinner and spend some time together. But I wanted to touch base on this guy right here. So this is the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour schedule for 2025, which was released yesterday at ICAST. And I had several comments asking me for specifically what my opinion was on it. So I thought I'd go through each event, give you a quick rundown as to what I think about it. And yeah, overall, I'm not honestly really satisfied with it. One of the things that I love so much about the Bass Pro Tour format is the small field allows us to go to almost any lake in the country. Realistically, if the lake is a couple thousand acres or bigger, we could probably go there. And to see the lakes that are on the schedule just kind of reminds me of, the same lakes we always go to. So the first one is Lake Conroe in Conroe, Texas. Now, that is a lake I've never been to. It is one that occasionally gets visited by the major tours that are out there. So from that standpoint, Lake Conroe is probably a decent choice for a lake. Now, the one thing I will say from what I know about it, which is not much, is that it's generally a low number fishery, does have some really good quality fish, but I don't think you're going to see there be just tons and tons of fish caught, which isn't a bad thing. I actually would prefer a tough fishery versus one that's got a pile of fish. But it does make me wonder why we didn't go to any of the other lakes in Texas that are really, really good, that are still in that same general area. So I'm not a huge fan of that. Stage 2, so stop number 2, middle of February, Harris Chain of Lakes down here in Florida. This is one that I think could potentially be an all right fishery. It's a body of water that has gotten absolutely pounded the last several years by the major tournament organizations. I have fished it a ton of times. I've had some success. I've actually never really had a really bad tournament at the Harris Chain. I've had some really good tournaments. Generally, I cash a check. So I do like the Harris Chain as a fishery. The one thing I will say that I don't know that I like a lot is with this format, and you incorporate a bunch of locks, depending on how that tournament is run, I feel like it almost limits you to a handful of lakes. Now, maybe they'll let you trailer to wherever you're going, but the locks change the game a little bit with respect to losing a lot of time. And it really has been a body of water that it needs some rest, in my opinion. So I would rather not be going there. I would much rather go to any of the other Florida lakes, to be honest with you. But that's where we're going. Stage 3, Lake Murray, Columbia, South Carolina. Probably one of the best lakes in the country right now. This is one that I am looking forward to fishing. I mean, it's a great fishery, lots of big fish. I've been there several times in the past. I just do feel like, again, though, it is pretty much on the schedule for one or more of the major tournaments every year. It is a big lake, really fishes huge, and I have had some good luck there. So that one is March 6th through the 9th. The Red Crest, as we know, is at Lake Guntersville. Stage 4 then, which is the first couple days of May, is a split tournament. So the first 2 days are on Lake Chickamauga in Chattanooga. And then the second 2 days are just downstream from Lake Chickamauga and the Tennessee River on Nickajack Lake. Nickajack is one, it's not a real big fishery. It doesn't have that many big tournaments there. I know they have a lot of tournaments in general, but from a professional level standpoint, they don't fish it that much. So I like Nickajack. Chickamauga is one where I've caught several of the biggest fish I've ever caught. But it's another body of water that just gets pounded. So I personally would have rather probably just kept this entire tournament on Nickajack versus the first 2 days on Chickamauga. They really They really do set up kind of different. Nickajack is much more of just a river stretch. Chickamauga is much more lakeish, but still the Tennessee River. After that, Heavy Hitters was announced on Smith Mountain Lake in Franklin County, Virginia. That's May 17th through the 22nd. Now, that's one that we really haven't seen many tournaments at in the past. There have been some occasional ones here and there, but it is definitely not one that's visited on a regular basis. I do like this pick. You know, it's got a smallmouth and largemouth. Should be a pretty good tournament overall that time of year, so I'm excited to see what that one has to do. After Heavy Hitters, we go to Kentucky Lake, first week of June. Kentucky Lake, for me personally, is like my least favorite lake to go to in the country. A couple of reasons for that. One is generally, you know, the lake is huge, so it can get pretty brutal. It can get pretty rough. Even though it's big, in June, it can tend to fish small. Now, I don't know if the ledge bites really come back, but in the ledge fishing heydays, which was right around this time, yes, the fishing could be great if you got on a spot to yourself, but generally speaking, there were 3 other tournament boats trying to fight you for it and 5 other local boats trying to get on it as well. Honestly, I've never been to a place where the local people were more ruthless. So from that standpoint, Kentucky Lake is just not necessarily high on my lakes to fish. But, you know, from what we've seen, the fishing looks like it's coming back. So Kentucky Lake, that's out of Calvert City, which I believe is the dam. So again, if we were going to Kentucky Lake, I would much rather go out of, say, Paris, which is right in the middle of the lake. Stage 6, Potomac River. Personally, I've had mixed results there. It does set up well for my strengths. That's June 26th through the 29th. I think that's probably going to be a pretty good tournament. When you've got 150 boats there, it fishes really small. With what will be next year, 65 boats, I feel like that will fish pretty big, and you'll be able to fish pretty much anything that you want. I think it'll be a good tournament, but again, Potomac River is just another fishery that we've pounded year after year after year. To me, you know, one thing we saw going to the Showan River, great crowd. People loved having us there. It was kind of an undiscovered area with great fishing. And when you look at a map, all up and down the East Coast, you've got tidal water river fisheries that could take our field size all over the place. But we're going back to the Potomac River. And then the last one, Stage 7, Saginaw Bay and the Saginaw River, Bay City, Michigan, August 7th through the 10th. My assumption is they're going to limit us to the bay itself, which means you're going to take a lot of the smallmouth out, and that will probably be I'm going to say it's going to be almost entirely dominated by largemouth. A good fishery, lots of fish are going to get caught, but again, that place is starting to get hit pretty good, and you know, it is what it is. There are a bunch of other hidden gems throughout the Great Lakes that I would love to have fished. So that's my take on it, guys. Right now, before I can concentrate on this, I really just need to concentrate on having one last good tournament for the year and securing my place in the 2025 field. So I've got one tournament left, first week of August, St. Lawrence River. Let's go there, have a good tournament, and then we can start worrying about Lake Conroe. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all the support. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments regarding the 2025 schedule. Thanks for watching.